So this is a spontaneous video. I only decided I was going to make this video during my gym session I had a few hours ago. I'm recording this audio on a Saturday night, after my usual Saturday shenanigans. I won't take you through absolutely everything, since I have a video coming out after this one that will go into more detail. The reason I decided to make this video is that my next video is close to being done, but it's early March now. My exam is in middle April. Yes, I do need to start hunkering down on exam study soon, but the remainder of the next video is honestly maybe only 2 nights worth of work away from being done. So I'd have almost a 2 month hiatus between videos. Since obviously I won't have a video ready the day I finish my exam, I'd still need time to make it whenever I had the spare time. So I decided to make another video in the meantime to help pad out the brand stat a little bit. And I believe the extra time spent making the video won't jeopardize my exam results. This shouldn't take me too long. So forgive me if it feels like I miss portions of this day. You'll see a more detailed Saturday in my next upcoming video, the most productive week ever. I'll show you some snippets of it towards the end of this video anyway. So this Saturday in particular, I was up between 2 a.m. to 5:30 a.m., maybe even later. The reason is, the last 4 nights in a row, I've had a gym session. Usually I don't gym Friday nights, but last night I had a social gym session with some of my mates from my hometown. We tested out a new revamped gym in our area. We did the same workout our mate who usually goes there does, because obviously you're not going to go together and then do your own separate workouts. And since he's on gear, he has a boatload more volume in his workouts, more than I'm usually able to handle. Here's the session we did, 3 sets of each. I only just wrote this down just so I had an idea of what he did. Now, normally I'd have way less sets for a given muscle group. You can see there's around 21 sets for back in this workout. Maybe more if you include face pulls as a back movement. I consider it a rear delt and just shoulder health movement, but depending on how you do it, it can be for your rhomboids. But regardless, I usually only do maybe 10-ish, maybe less, maybe a little bit more, but it's nowhere near 21 sets. So this, coupled with coming off 3 consecutive gym sessions, my heart rate was elevated at night. Hence why I couldn't get back to sleep for at least 3 fucking hours. Now, my session today had a lot more volume, as he's opened up my eyes to a different style of training, but I'll talk more about that later in this video. One advantage of being awake during these sort of hours between Tuesday and Saturday here in Australia is that the New York Stock Exchange is open. I mentioned this in more detail in the most productive week ever video, but if I'm awake at night, I can make more swing trades. So tonight I closed a few trades. I went long on Nordstrom before earnings. Now, although the lower and middle class have much less discretionary income these days due to rising rates and inflation, the rich don't have this issue. And Nordstrom is like a specialty fashion retail company, so I'm like, well, they're probably doing fine in this economic climate. And they were. They beat their earnings per share by almost 11%, so this was a nice, easy, almost 14% profit on my investment overnight. I'll talk more about investing another time, but I'm trying to keep this short. And I also talk more about it in that big video of mine, but all you need to know for now is I made a big brain move. I also went long on this AI company before earnings, since, lately AI has been all the rave. And all they need to do is say some optimistic shit, and the market will gobble it up. So this was a monster move on my end. 110% profit overnight, doubling my money overnight. Easy cash, boys. Now, I went short on Costco. I was meant to go long before earnings because, as a consumer staple, this stock will tend to do pretty well, especially in like recessionary times. But as I was about to make this trade, I noticed that on the day of making this trade, the stock was up 1.8%. Now, that is a huge move for a stock such as Costco in one day. So that told me that the risk was to the downside. So basically, I decided to just short the stock instead because, well, the risk was to the downside. If you don't understand all this stock market terminology I'm saying, if you watch some of the A and S tier videos I mention in my investment rankings video, you'll start to get the gist of it. I may elaborate on them myself in due time, but not this video. So yeah, this Costco move was another almost 14% return on my money. So, not bad, hey? And then I went short on Micro Tragedy, as Maverick of Wall Street would call it. I went short on this stock, MicroStrategy. So this stock has a lot of exposure to cryptocurrency, and recently, in the past few days, at the time of recording this video, Silvergate had like postponed their like reports or something, and that's basically a bad sign, since it's like, well, what are you trying to hide? And then like auditors and government bodies had questions about it. So it was just a really bad look. And Silvergate has a lot to do with crypto. So crypto tanked after Silvergate tanked, and MicroStrategy hadn't tanked much yet. So I'm like, well, this is due for some sort of crash. And I was honestly expecting a bigger crash than this, but I'll take this money, another 10% return on my investment overnight. And here's another stock I closed, Best Buy. I went long on this before earnings, and well, yeah, I made a little bit of money. It's something. 1.3% overnight is nothing to scoff at. Imagine doing that every trading day of the year. You'll be stinking rich. So I had no losing trades for this day. There are some like short trades that are in the red at the moment, but they can very easily swing back, end up green, and then I close for a profit. But that's also something I'll touch on in the upcoming video that you'll see after this one's been uploaded. But all you need to know is, while I was having absolutely, well, it wasn't shit sleep because I was awake, but while I was pretty pissed off that I couldn't sleep, I made some big money moves. So the diversified grind, if one thing in one part of your life is going shit, at least another part of your life can go better. So eventually I go back to sleep. The reason I think I was awake after 5:30 is because I heard someone in the lounge room, which was probably my dad getting ready for work. Like, he works on Saturdays as well. So that's why I was definitely awake still at 5. So that's why I think it was after 5:30. So I set my alarm for 7 o'clock just to give myself a little bit of extra sleep. Didn't help much. I was very, very tired, but I do my usual Saturday morning routine, which is, again, it's what you'll see in the other video. So I'm just going to cut out stuff like this. So anyway, I start work at around 8 o'clock. I just do my job. We had, what's this photo here? We had some like snacks and shit in the tea room. So normally I wouldn't have this, but I decided to have some today because I'm basically going back to bulking. I'm a little bit loose on the calories this week just because I can get away with it. It's a kind of long story, but basically after every one of my cuts, I can basically get away with a pretty high calorie intake for like the next couple of weeks without actually gaining weight. And then obviously if I keep it going, then I start to gain the weight. But it's a concept I'll talk about in another video, but trust me, it works. Well, it works for me at least. So, and you'll note that in my recent cutting video, I said I was going to keep going with the cut, and you'll see in the most productive week ever video that I am also on the cut, but I abandoned that for a few reasons, and one of them was, honestly, I am lean enough, and I would just start to like getting a bit of extra size, especially because my gear mate, I guess he's like opened my eyes to just, I guess, being bigger is probably a bit better, even if I do gain a bit more body fat than I'd like. But again, there's a lot more to it than that. I might touch on it. I might touch on it in another video, but basically, these calories I consumed from having some extra shit at work is fine. So anyway, do my job as usual. I do some manager shit in the afternoon, which is what you're seeing now. This is also elaborated on the next upcoming video, so I'll skip over it. Anyway, we finish work, and then we have my little gym session. I'll show you the workout on screen now. I've programmed barbell hip thrusts into this particular workout too, but I didn't do them today because, as you can imagine, I was a little bit fatigued, especially given this workout. Like, it was very high volume, and this is 5 gym sessions in a row. I can't remember the last time I ever did this sort of thing, but anyway, flexing as normal. As you can see, the delts look pretty sick compared to the rest of my physique anyway. Pro tip, if you have small biceps and triceps, your deltoids look bigger. So maybe all those neglecting arms when I was just running push-pull legs throughout uni had paid off. So if you're a regular of mine, you would have heard me say in the past whenever I talk about gym that my arms are lagging. Now, although they do look pretty big in some pictures, that's because they're pictures, right? Anyone can forge them easily. You know, as we all know, the whole Instagram versus reality thing. But this little image here really, I guess, encapsulates what I mean. So you can see that there's quite a bit of size in the traps and, like, I guess back or rear delt. You can definitely see something popping out from behind the shoulder. And then you can see the actual, like, medial delt and even anterior delt itself is obviously quite developed. But then you see the biceps and triceps, like, it's not a noodle arm by any means, but one of these muscle groups, or there are a few of these muscle groups, are clearly less developed than the rest. So that's what I mean by I need to, I guess, prioritize arms. But with that said, I kind of would prefer this look over having like narrow shoulders and bigger arms. I see it a lot in quite a few people in my local area. Like they'll spam biceps and triceps and they'll be like, 25% body fat. So their arms look massive in a shirt, but you wear a singlet and there's just no, I guess, broad shoulder look at all. But anyway, enough sucking my own dick. Here's another flex I did because the gym was empty, so I can get away with this without having anyone intrude on my pictures. So, as you can see, shoulders look pretty fucking huge here, but biceps look like a little stringy noodle piece of crap. But that's fine, I guess I'd rather that than the other way around. The traps look pretty big too, which is weird because I never really, well, I did used to do shrugs and stuff back in the uni day, but I didn't do them like often enough for them to grow. And the last time I did a proper barbell shrug must have been at least 2019, possibly a bit earlier, but it's probably around 2019. If you like, I guess if you know the anatomy of your trapezius muscle, you'll know that it isn't just worked through shrugs. There are other movements that can work it, which again, I do mention that briefly in that most productive week ever video. I think the size of these traps are attributed to some other movements that I do, such as upright rows. And here's a flex of the back, obviously. My left arm here looks so much bigger than my right arm. Again, it's all about like lighting and angles and shit. And you can kind of see like my left glute popping out of the shorts a bit. Thanks, lots of hip thrusts. And you'll see like glute stuff, no homo, in the most productive week ever video too. Just finishing up the Saturday gym sesh that I'm just finishing up. Good English. My brain's pretty fried because had minimal sleep, obviously 9 hours of work and then almost a 2-hour gym sesh. Had to cut a few sets because I am obviously a little bit exhausted, as you would have heard me talk about in the voiceover before. But yeah, finishing the workout now. It's around 7 o'clock. Gym's empty as per usual Saturday nights. And then yeah, home, probably shower, cook dinner as usual, then probably listen to that Walk the World investing video, as you'll see, get some tidbits, and then probably get to work on either the most productive week ever video or this one. So you just heard me, like raw me in the gym, talk about, I guess, what I just did. So after that, I was like, I haven't done this calisthenics movement in a while. I figure maybe today will be a good day to get some footage for it. So you're seeing me do that now. So it kind of looked like a spastic, but yeah, I mean, it's a pretty sick movement anyway. It's like gravity equals 0 with this movement. So I grabbed my groceries from the mini fridge and we head home. So that's my little shopping list for today. I needed some eggs, some kiwis, some seaweed, some spinach, and some light milk. So I get home, and when I jump in the shower, I listen to this video here. You heard Raw Me mention that. This channel is talked about in the Saturday portion of my upcoming video as well. So I'll skip over that because I don't need to talk about it here because it'll be talked about there. So although I did buy eggs because our chickens just aren't laying some, I will check to make sure our chickens did lay some eggs because the quality from those eggs are much better. I've mentioned it in a few videos in the past, so I won't mention it again, but essentially the better nutrients your chickens have, the better nutrients the eggs are, which obviously makes sense. So I always try to make sure that I have our chicken eggs before I have supermarket free-range eggs. I never touch caged eggs. I don't care how cheap they are. They're just not worth the nutritional value in my eyes. So here are some of our chickens just minding their own business, eating some scraps, and then we also have a little kitty cat who hangs around the chicken shed, which is good because kitty cat stays safe from the wildlife around here. Like we've got like feral cats and shit. Maybe foxes are a threat, I don't know, but either way, kitty cat is nice and safe. I didn't film this, but I like basically patted the cat for maybe 5 minutes or so. Good boost to the mental health stat. So anyway, get inside, cook my usual dinner, and then I write up some of this script and get some of this particular video ready. As I've mentioned like 5 or 6 times already in this video, you will see more of what goes on behind the scenes in this upcoming video. But anyway, at the time of recording this section, it's 9:12 p.m. So time to go back inside and get started on making this video. And the only commentary for the rest of the video will be raw footage. So take it away, raw footage me. All right, here I am with the microphone. And here I am with the recording setup. I managed only 682 words for this script, but I'm just going to freelance the rest of it. So apologies if it seems a little unstructured. But yeah, I just finished dinner, the usual stuff, which you'll see in that upcoming video. But now I'm recording this stuff. All right, so you just heard me, I guess, finish that part of the recording, or that part of the recording. So overall, this recording was 16 minutes. There was a few stutters. I was going to just leave them in, but I think I won't be a lazy cunt and I'll actually just cut them out. So that'll eat up a bit of time. Shut up. So that'll eat up a bit of time. So I'm going to go on a nightly walk for now. I'm going to go on my nightly walk and then I'll get back inside and I'll get started. I'll get cracking on this video, hey. And then I'll show you some of that like most productive week ever video as well. All right, so nightly walk time. Won't elaborate on this because it'll be in that most productive week ever video. Don't know if you can see the stars from my phone. I think you see a few, but there's a bit more out in force tonight. But yeah, pretty good, nice and tranquil. So I'm going through that little audio recording you just heard me make. When you get around to watching this video, you'll know that I normally just play games while listening to this stuff, but I am not too far off bed, especially given how much sleep I had. But I'll just quickly run through this video, some of it, and then I will head to bed probably, and I'll fix this up in the morning. But yeah, it's like there's little bits that are little bits. There's quite a lot that's actually done in this video already. And then yeah, I'm all the way up to, actually I've got Saturdays, I haven't added that in yet, but yeah, all parts of this video are done. I got Friday all sorted. Here's stock trades, there's other shit I've done. Close. So yeah, that's the next video.